Hello everyone, this is my top 10 films of the 90s list with 5 honourable mentions. Always like to sneak a few of them in there. I was tagged in this by Ash from Popcorn and Horror. Thank you for the tag, Ash. Sure, everybody knows Ash. Great YouTuber, great guy, great channel. Good video he's done, good list. Maybe a few that cross over in mine. Go and watch Ash's list. I will link him down below, or at least link his video, should I say. Yeah, I guess I'll do it now before I forget. So I would like to tag Jody from Jody's Movie Realm, Angelo from Wacky World of Napang Films, and Sammy G from Sammy G's World of Cinema. Anyone else that wants to do one, like Ash said, I guess there's no content police are going to come and stop you. So yeah, I guess you don't really need to be tagged to jump on this. If anyone wants to get involved, just say Tim says you can. Yeah, I did find it hard to put them in an order, not going to lie. Not just to decide, but some of these, yeah, really hard to separate, between, say, 7th and 8th. And it's not really much in it. Kind of just had to go with, put them in an order. Number 1, I'm still not really 100% sure on. I might change it before I show it to you. 5 honourable mentions. These, yeah, I guess not really any particular order. Just some were close to making the list. Some, I think I sort of found these, put them in the list, and then thought, have another look through the collection, then found others. So I kind of, yeah, had these, and then once I came across others, I was like, no, that needs to go above this. And these got taken out, but didn't want to take them all out altogether. Yeah, could be some I'm overlooking or missing. Last time when I did the top 10 films of the century, afterwards, when people like Hills commented, I was like, yeah, I should have had session 9. Forgot that was from the 2000s. What's the other one? Yeah, it was 1 or 2 actually that I sort of thought about after. This one I took a bit more time to get it ready. I haven't rushed it as much, but yeah, I'm still probably overlooking something. Someone will probably comment, and I'll look and think, oh yeah, how did I forget that one? I mean, there's so many films, not just released in the 90s, but looking through this collection, I'll look and be like, all right, that one I'll put, look on the back is 2001 or something. Not a Space Odyssey. Right, let me get on with it. So first honorable mention, I'm not going to talk about these too long. I know you've all heard that before, but yeah, not long got home from work, it's gone midnight. Neighbour's probably going to be angry if I'm shouting too loud, so try and get this done quite quick. But yeah, I will just not even give a synopsis of the film, but just thoughts on why they're one of my favourites. Some of them I might watch and be like, I think it's a flawless film. Do enjoy it, obviously, as a film, but I'm going more on technical merit, whereas others, might mean more to me, a bit like Ash had on his list, so I will speak about them when I get to them. So yeah, first, off the bat, 15th, I guess you call it, and this is from 1990, I'm pretty sure, so only just got into the century, is Jacob's Ladder. Best Adrian Lyne film for me. Also did Fatal Attraction. Ooh, was it Basic Instinct? No, I think it's Fatal Attraction. Done a few other thrillers, but yeah, this is surreal, creepy, nightmarish, really great acting by Tim Robbins. Really like Danny Aiello in it. He's not in it much, but he's the angelic chiropractor. Got a lot of like iconography. All the names in this are like religious names, like Jacob. His son's called, forgetting his name. His wife's called Jezebel. Yeah, there's a lot of like religious metaphors and things. Genuinely creepy. Still find it creepy now, but remember I seen it as a kid. Only sort of came down the stairs, when you're in bed and you come down to get a drink of milk or something, and you get the drink and trying to make a meal out of it, as my parents used to say, taking as long as possible to sip it. And yeah, I think it was a bit when the taxi goes past, or like a car, and there's 2 like demon heads just vibrating in the back. I think this was the first film to make that kind of vibrating. Yeah, a bit on the dance floor scene with the lizards is all I'm going to say. Yeah, really well made. Oh yeah, it does say here. So yeah, Adrian Lyne directed Fatal Attraction and Decent Proposal. Tim Robbins, Danny Aiello, Macaulay Culkin in a young role. Yeah, really good film, really ambiguous, bit of a Vietnam War film going on, but yeah, I wouldn't really say it's a horror, more a thriller, but it's got some horrifying stuff. And yeah, the bit in the hospital when he goes into the hospital of hell, yeah, that will stay with you. Jacob's Ladder at 15. this probably ain't going to be on anybody else's list other than mine. Let me move this camera back a tiny bit. I think it was going to tilt off the shelf. Yeah, not sure anyone else would have this, but probably because they haven't seen it. I've been recommending this for years, and I don't think anyone's took me up and gone and watched it, but I would always say this has got the best editing of any film I've ever seen. Literally, the editing absolutely makes the film. Edit it in a way, a bit like stop motion, where it looks like the people in it are like running, but they're not. Yeah, it's hard to describe. Sound design, absolutely amazing. Not even music, but sound. It'd be like ambient sort of machine noises. It's like a industrial. It's not really a splatterpunk. It's got some gore, but it's in black and white. Let me show it to you anyway. Tetsuo the Iron Man, Shinya Tsukamoto's first film. So he went on to make The Isle, which I know Ash has watched recently. A Snake in June, really weird erotic thriller. A lot of his stuff's in black and white, but yeah, for me, it's a challenging film. It's not a film you can just sit and like switch your brain off. It is a absolute overload on the senses. Disturbing, not in a really gory way, in a surreal way. Yeah, I won't really go into the plot on that to describe it, but yeah, first time I watched this, not only was I like never seen anything like this, but yeah, I guess good films you don't really notice the editing in, but in this you do, and yeah, they utilise the editing in such a way, sound design, original, so memorable, the sort of some of the scene. Yeah, I won't go into it too much, but Hills, Marcus Ash, anyone that's into their like, I wouldn't even say disturbing cinema, but challenging cinema. It's a bit art housey, but yeah, this literally blew me away. I watch this at least once a year. It's only 60 minutes, so don't go by too long. Possibly my favourite, at least World War II film. Platoon, Full Metal Jacket, maybe above this, but they are Vietnam films. But as far as actual World War II films go, it's Saving Private Ryan with Tom Hanks. Sure, this isn't a surprise. Sure, everybody's heard of this. I did double check. I'm pretty sure it's the 90s. 1998. Private Ryan in 12th, I guess you call it, or maybe it's just honorable mentions. This is one I haven't actually watched for years, so I do need to get back to it. But I remember thinking, not only an entertaining film with brilliant performances, real cat and mouse kind of thriller, but such a well-made film. But it is about 3 hours long, so it is one. Yeah, I haven't watched this in over 10 years since I've got this 4K, but I do need to go back and watch it. Sure, Jodie's a fan of this. I know she's a big fan of Val Kilmer, a Michael Mann film, Heat, Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. But yeah, really, it's all about the sort of story between those two in it. But yeah, brilliantly made film. Sure, everybody knows Heat. Yeah, I think I had it on DVD Blu-ray, but upgraded to this 4K about a year ago and still haven't watched this copy. Shush. Sorry, my cat wants to get in on it. I don't know what his favourite films. You weren't even born in the 90s, mate. And then final honourable mention, so I guess you'd call this 11th place. I did speak glowingly about this when I watched it recently, saying probably the most important horror film of the 90s. You can probably guess it's Scream. I think Ash had this quite high on his video as well. Yeah, I spoke about this recently, so I won't go into it, but a satire, one of the first films to like break the fourth wall. All the characters in it know they're in a horror film and sort of act like you would. Lots of twists and turns, Joe. Yeah, just really clever, really well-made film. One of Wes Craven's best. Scream, sure everybody knows that. That's my 5 honourable mentions. So it was Jacob's Ladder, Tetsuo the Iron Man, Saving Private Ryan, Heat, and Scream. Yeah, hopefully I've not forgot any real. I mean, until I watched Ash's video, I'd almost forgot the Shawshank Redemption. Yeah, it's in my top 5 favourite films. I guess that's a bit of a spoiler alert. I've just told you Shawshank Redemption, so might as well show it to you first on 4K. Yeah, this I do enjoy, but I think it's just one. I just think it's such a well-made film. Even if I didn't resonate with it and didn't find it that entertaining. You know, there's some films out there, say Titanic. I don't love it personally as a film, but I couldn't lie and say it's not a well-made film. Brilliant acting, brilliant music by James Horner. Whereas, yeah, Shawshank Redemption. Not only do I enjoy it and like it, adapted from a Stephen King book. Seems all of Stephen King's best books, or at least best adaptations, were not horrors. So you've got The Long Walk, Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, Hearts in Atlantis, is it? Yes, quite a few of that. Stand By Me that were not horrors. That seemed to be his like best adaptations. I think I did have this in about 5th or so down the pile. Thought I'd show it now, being as I accidentally spoiled it and told everyone it was going to be in here. But yeah, kind of had forgot about that. Then when Ash said about he didn't quite make his list, but another film similar did, I was kind of like, bloody hell, I would have gone on ahead and done this and forgot Shawshank Redemption. I'll show you these aren't really in an order of favourites. I wouldn't say that's 10th favourite. In fact, yeah, it probably would have been about 3rd, but I messed it up, so I showed it to you now. Another horror. I've got the box set, but it's only part 1, really, I would say. It's the original Ringu, Japanese film from 1998, I want to say. Yeah, 1998. Yeah, remember when this came out, not only was it groundbreaking and everybody I knew was like saying it was terrifying and scary, it'd never been a film like this. Creepy film, but really well made film, but also not just a horror, it's a bit more of a sort of investigative journalism thriller, I'd say, with a few sort of horror scenes. Yeah, I know Sammy G's World of Cinema watched this for the first time last year, probably October-ish, Halloween. I sent him a copy a while ago, once upgraded to this sort of trilogy set, which I think I got in the Arrow sale at like half price, 25 instead of 50. I sent Sam like the original single ring I just had. I bought that before I got this trilogy. And yeah, he got round to watching it and Sam was really impressed with it and said he sort of enjoyed, it's like the lady goes investigating. Yeah, I like films that have got sort of a bit like Sinister, horror, but with some sort of investigative sleuthing, thrillery kind of edge. But yeah, sure, everybody knows The Ring. Not just a well-made film, genuinely creepy, really kicked off all that J-horror, not just in general, but for me, yeah, the first Japanese horror film I've heard of. Watched this, got into other ones. I do find it creepy, can't say I find it terrifying, but it is creepy. Sadaka, I think she's called. Just in case people haven't seen it, I won't spoil it. The remake, really good as well. Got it up there. American remake with Naomi Watts. I think it's directed by Gore Klopinski. Not quite as good as this, but as far as remakes go, yeah, they've done a good job. Just doesn't have the original. I guess because in Japan they do believe in these kind of ghosts and yokai and things. It kind of has a bit more of a cultural importance, I guess, than when they adapt it into the American one. My favourite Mel Gibson directed and starring film. Passion of the Christ, close up there for me, but Braveheart. So yeah, I do have this on the Steelbook. As I've said a few times, I'm not the biggest Steelbook collector, but if I go into a HMV and there's a normal version on the shelf for 15 and next to it's the Steelbook at the same price or like £1 more or so, then yeah, sometimes get the Steelbook, only on really favourites, so like Alien, The Thing, this, E.T., yeah, some of my sort of, what would be my top 25 and that I do have on Steelbook. Sure, everybody knows Braveheart, epic film, based on a true story of William Wallace. I don't know how closely it stays to the original source material. Obviously, the only annoying thing with these Steelbooks, say the only thing, one of the annoying things, other than they can get pranged and scratched and they didn't display that well, is to really give you any information on the back. I think this is about 3 hours long, 1995. Yeah, it's got some pretty gory scenes in that, pretty epic scenes, some few scenes, I won't really say what happens, something with the woman that kind of makes you angry. Some really epic war scene. Yeah, before Lord of the Rings and things like that came along, this, I think, had the most people in a battle of any films. You'd see a few sort of epic films from a while ago, and you'd see a lot of bodies in the battle, but when it zoomed in, you'd only see the actual action of, like, a few people battling, then it would skip to the next, but this sort of showed hundreds of extras at once. Yeah, I guess Lord of the Rings took it to a new level with Helm's Deep and Minas Tirith battles, where you've literally got 10,000 plus real extras. But yeah, epic film, quite a deep meaning, brilliant directing from Mel Gibson, but brilliant acting as well. Sure, everybody knows Braveheart. Put it up there. Yeah, remember the first time I seen this one blew me away. Not just how good a film it is, but how powerful it is. And yeah, it's one really makes you think. Got quite a powerful ending. And yeah, I think not only does it broach a kind of touchy subject, but does it kind of in a tasteful way where character goes on a journey. Won't say too much and spoil it, but it's a good character arc, great acting. Best I've ever seen Ed Norton in any film. Let me show you it. American History X. Yeah, usually he's just in, for example, Red Dragon. He's just kind of a normal guy, whereas in this he is absolutely jacked. Not only he's really got jacked for the role, really muscly and ripped and that, but once he's got his head shaved and his beard and all his like Nazi tattoos and things, he really does look the part. Really good dialogue. Directed by Tony Kaye. 1998. Yeah, a few of these seem to be from 1998. Starring Edward Norton, Edward Furlong, Stacey Keach is in it. What's his name? From Randy from My Name Is Earl, I think. But yeah, this not only a well-made film, powerful film, good acting, but yeah, kind of leaves you after. It's quite cathartic. I wouldn't say it leaves you depressed after, kind of, but kind of really makes you think. And I think maybe if people were racist, they'd watch this and maybe change their opinion. I think it is that kind of a film that really makes you think. But also, I like how when it goes into the flashbacks, all the flashbacks are in black and white, so it's really easy to differentiate. Whereas there's some Tarantino films out there where obviously it's not meant to be in chronological order, but sometimes you'd be like, jump to one scene to another, and you're like, hey, did this happen before or after this? Whereas, yeah, did appreciate that all the flashback scenes were in black and white. But yeah, sure, everybody's seen American History X. If you haven't, brilliant film. And if you haven't watched it in a while, can't remember it, go back and watch it. Really powerful stuff. After the really powerful stuff, we want something a bit light-hearted. So I've gone with Mrs. Doubtfire, one of Roy Barrett's favourites. I know he likes these kind of light-hearted comedies. Robin Williams, Sally Field, directed by Chris Columbus. Also starring Pierce Brosnan, Harvey Fierstein, Robert Prosky. Music by Howard Shore. Yeah, genuinely funny. I've said this a few times when I spoke about this, but I don't think anyone else could have played this role. This was like a once-in-a-lifetime made for Robin Williams, this role. Really clever. It's so good when he's sort of doing the like old Scottish lady accent. Yeah, it's a really funny bit in the restaurant where Pierce Brosnan starts choking and he gives him the Heimlich maneuver and bit flies out of his mouth and he said, what's your name? He says Stew. He said, Stew, that's not a man's name, that's a thick soup. Yeah, loads of quotable. Sure, everybody knows Mrs. Doubtfire, 1993. Yeah, went to see this one at the cinema. Really good music, not just good songs, but the way it ties when he's getting dressed up and he's playing that dude looks like a lady. Yeah, sure, everybody knows Mrs. Doubtfire, Robin Williams' magnum opus, and probably the best comedy of the 90s for me. Sure, everybody knows this one. If you don't, I won't say too much because it's very spoiler-ish. The Sixth Sense. If Unbreakable was obviously in my top favourite of the century. Signs, I was looking on it and couldn't actually find the date. It is the Steelbook, so again, I don't really have the date. It is a 4K, but I think it was just about the 2000s. But yeah, if I had to choose one or the other, yeah, I would choose The Sixth Sense slightly over Signs. Sure, everybody knows this. Not really even going to speak about it other than saying M. Night Shyamalan, Bruce Willis, Haley Joel Osment, was he called this kid? Haley Joel Osment. Yes, creepy, it's got good twists, really well written. Toni Collette in when she was younger, but still in a really good role, up there with Hereditary. It's one of her most powerful roles. Yeah, it's not really a horror, even though it's sort of ghosts and things. I say it's more of a mystery thriller. But yeah, like I said when I spoke about this the other day on my pickups haul video, I don't think any film has ever had a more famous twist than this. If you don't know the twist, I won't say, but even if you haven't seen the film, I'm sure you've heard what the twist is, unless you've been living under a rock. Ash Ash also had this on his list. In fact, I think it was Ash that sent you this copy, or did I get in CEX? Can't remember. I know Ash has sent me a few films and things. Yeah, first time I watched this, really blown away. I think it's going on 3 hours. Over 3 hours, 188 minutes. When I first watched it, I didn't kind of, get halfway through and think I better check what the running time is. I think it was like on TV or something. But yeah, got sort of near the end and was like, really enjoyed this. That must have been an hour and a half. Looked at the clock. I was like, wow, I've been sat in nearly 3 hours. No wonder I'm desperate for the toilet. But yeah, just got completely wrapped up in it. Emotional. Got a bit of, like, spoiling it, supernatural element going on, but still works without it. Another Stephen King book, another Frank Darabont. So got 2 films in the top 10, not just even on the honourable mentions. Yeah, probably only director here with 2 films, I think. But Green Mile, sure everybody knows this. I think Marcus from X-File 2708. I only watched this for the first time last year and really blown away. You get these kind of films, you hear they're good and you don't get around to watching them and you're like, yeah, will it be as good as everyone says? A bit like Sam with Aliens. And when you do actually finally get some of them, they might be disappointing, but no, not with this one. Brilliant acting, really good story. It's, written by Stephen King, so it's a good story. Wouldn't say it's got like horrifying bits, but a few bits when I was younger did bother me. All I'm going to say is Wet the Sponge, Green Mile. I forgot already what order these are in. I guess they're not really in order, so I won't even say a number. But right, we're on to the top 3, so I guess I can tell you a number now. Ironically, 7. If we want to be talking about numbers. David Fincher's best film for me. Fight Club was close to making it, but I wasn't even sure if Fight Club was 90s. Maybe it's just on the cusp of 2000, 2001. But yeah, I only wanted to go with one of his films, really, so I went with 7. First time I seen this, yeah, right, with a load of mates. Really dark, creepy film. Well made. Just over 2 hours, 127 minutes. It flies along. Gwyneth Paltrow in it. Great chemistry by Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. Good villain from, I'm a mental block on his name, Kevin Spacey. Yeah, first sort of film I think to play on like the 7 Deadly Sins is like the modus operandi for the serial killer, but really clever how it does it. Really good dialogue. Not really a twist ending, but ending with the box again is all I'm going to say about spoiling it. 7. Shelby knows this, yeah. Other than a few of my honorable mentions like Tetsuo Iron Man, maybe Jacob's Ladder, I don't think any of these are going to be surprise to people. Sorry if I'm boring. Another honorable mention I would have had is Terminator 2 Judgment Day. As a kid, I absolutely loved that film. Was my favourite film for a while, but I think I kind of watched it so much I worn it out a bit. But also, I do only have it on DVD, so I do need to upgrade that. I didn't really want to go with. Well, let me show you this first. I won't say what my number 1 is because it's spoilerish, but yeah, I was trying to be a bit different to what Ash has got, but I've got a few recurring ones as him. I guess either, like they say, great minds think alike or just a copycat. But Silence of the Lambs, sure everyone knows this. This is the 4K Arrow video version. When I was a kid, teenager, whatever, I always used to maintain that Anthony Hopkins' role as Hannibal Lecter was the best bit of acting I'd ever seen by anybody in any film ever as a character actor. Don't know if I would still go with that now. There's a few others I've seen since that would be up there, but still brilliant. I think Ted Levine is underrated as Buffalo Bill in this. If it wasn't for Anthony Hopkins being so good, he'd be like the star of the show. Jodie Foster great as Clarice Starling, directed by Scott Glenn, I want to say. Jonathan Dean? Don't you pronounce it. Jodie Foster, Anthony Hopkins, Scott Glenn. Music by Howard Shore. There's a recurring film here that quite a lot of these good films have been scored by Howard Shore. Yeah, sure everybody knows this, won't say too much, but loads of quotables, good action, quite sort of again, I wouldn't say disturbing scenes, but the bit in the prison cell where how he sort of escapes and things is quite brutal. It is an 18, yeah, some sure I've been Silence of the Lambs. I think once I'd got over Terminator 2 and I'd watched that a lot of times, and because it was so popular and everyone else liked it, I started to kind of think, find a lesser known favourite so I could be original kind of thing. Because all my friends at school was like on the same bandwagon. And yeah, I think from up to about age 15, I wouldn't say outgrew, but got over Terminator 2, watched it too many times, and then this was my favourite from about 15 to 20s or so. So was my favourite film ever for a little while. Silence of the Lambs. What year is this? Just about 1991. So I only just got in there. And then, yeah, didn't really want to go with the same number 1 as Ash, but couldn't really not show this. Not only I still enjoy it now. If it weren't for Jaws, I'd say this is probably Steven Spielberg's best film. But for me, it's more when I've seen it in the cinema. So yeah, Jurassic Park, the original. Got the trilogy set here, which definitely was sent by Ash. So thank you, Ash. Other films are good. I think Lost World Part 2 is one of Spielberg's most underrated films, with some really good scenes, like a bit when they're on the glass and it's cracking. But yeah, Part 1, still enjoy it now when I watch it. But yeah, seen this at the cinema. So what did this come out? 93? 92? I think Ash did say that earlier in his. I must have been, let's say, 8 years old when I seen this at the cinema. Best experience I've ever had at the cinema, not just in terms of enjoying the film. We went to like a mate's birthday party to the cinema. Also remember the journey there. We were in like, his dad had an estate, and where we couldn't all fit in like the car we was in, like the boot with the seats pulled down, and part of that was just the fun of like travelling to there. And then yeah, I remember being blown away. Obviously good film to watch in the cinema in terms of the scope and scale of the big dinosaurs, but also the surround sound. You know, when you can hear him stomping the glass, the water is like vibrating. That's so loud and epic in the cinema. I enjoyed it, but a few of the people I was with, they all loved it, don't get me wrong, but a few of them did find it a bit intense and a few scenes a bit scary, like with the T-Rex. Whereas by the time I went to the cinema to watch this, I'd already seen Nightmare on Elm Street, Candyman, a lot of like horror films that are obviously more intense than this. But yeah, easily my best cinema experience. I guess it's like people who went to see Star Wars, A New Hope, should I say, for the first time. Apparently absolutely blown away, never seen anything like it. Sort of generational cinema going experience, a bit like Jaws when that first came out, was the original blockbuster. And yeah, this for me, by far the best film I'd ever seen at the cinema. Still really do enjoy it now. Kind of rewatch it any time. I guess I couldn't. Yeah, it's getting to the point, a bit like what happened with Terminator 2, where I guess if you see a film too much, it does start to like, you can get bored of it, but yeah, you don't want to watch it too much and wear the novelty off. But yeah, if I go back to this once a year, perfect. Still hasn't really aged that badly or anything, considering, say it's 93, Jumanji was like a year later, and yet the CGI on the monkeys in Jumanji now for me looks quite bad, whereas this all still looks epic. Epic music, yeah. Let me see who does the score to this. I guess you need the individual discs really to be able to see the proper information. I still can't see it. Maybe it's Howard Shore. I'm guessing it's John Williams actually, if it's Spielberg. So I know John Williams did work with Spielberg. But yeah, the main theme when they're in the helicopter, amazing. All the music, so many good quotables, good characters, clever girl. Bit when they first see the Brachiosaurus, it's just epic, awe-inspiring. Bit with the Velociraptor, so tense when kids are hiding in the kitchen, they're looking for them. Yeah, what can I say? Iconic. Sure, everybody knows Jurassic Park. Yeah, I didn't really want to copy Ash and go with the same thing, and I really tried not to, but didn't want to lie to myself or others. So yeah, that's my top 10. So yeah, honourable mentions I showed you, and then let me just recap. So The Ring, Shawshank Redemption, Braveheart, American History X, Mrs. Doubtfire, The Sixth Sense, The Green Mile, Seven, The Silence of the Lambs, and Jurassic Park. So yeah, sure, none of those are really blowing anyone away. Haven't heard of them, even on my honourable mentions. Sure, everybody's heard of Scream and Heat, Saving Private Ryan. Sure, everybody's heard of Jacob's Ladder, or it might be a deeper pick. But yeah, this is the only one I'm going with that gives me some kind of obscure film knowledge over anyone that might not have this on their list. Tetsuo the Iron Man. But yeah, I don't think that's too contentious a list, so I don't really get that much hate in the comments, but feel free to comment and say what you like if you don't agree. And let me know of any you think I forgot. I'm sure there's some I've overlooked that as soon as someone says it, I'm like, oh no, how did I forget that such and such a film? But yeah, that's my list. And like I say, I tagged Sam, EG's World of Cinema, Jodie's Movie Realm, and Angelo, aka Wacky World and the Pang. I'm suspecting Angelo to do some kind of crazy cinema, maybe gets in a fake DeLorean and goes back to the actual 90s to watch these in his video. Angelo always does some kind of crazy entertaining theme to his video, shall we say, or maybe he'll dress up as a dinosaur if Jurassic Park's in his list, which actually, judging by his Jurassic Park ranking, I don't think it will be, but I'll stop going on about other people's lists. Right, thank you everybody for watching. Looking forward to seeing anybody else that wants to take part, not just the people I've tagged, but obviously Ash has tagged a few people, Roy tagged a few people, so we'll try and check out everybody's entry. Shorter than my normal videos at 30 minutes, but still rambling on a bit longer than I was hoping. Right, thank you everybody, bye.